Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Sporting Perspective. It is the beginning of another baseball season as it starts this week. Spring training has wrapped up, and yeah, 6, 7 months of baseball waiting for us. Um, and this is our preview show. But before we get started with making our picks and all that stuff, we had the whole of spring training and we had the whole World Baseball Classic that I feel like is worth noting as Venezuela, in very dramatic fashion, beat the United States. It was, in my opinion, a great 10 days of baseball. But James, what was your takeaway from the World Baseball Classic?
I thought it took a step forward from the last one, definitely. We saw bigger names on Team USA. We actually saw some pitching. Paul Skeens took it seriously, it looked like. I still don't like that it's happening but like right before the season. I feel like there's obviously a lot of insurance policies that had to be taken out, not just on Team USA, but other teams, or other countries, I should say. But overall, yeah, I thought it was really good. Disappointing for Team USA, but also hats off to Venezuela. Um, they just seemed more into it. They cared a little bit more. Um, but yeah, overall, I thought it was super fun. Didn't get that Japan USA rematch that I think a lot of people were looking for, but I mean Venezuela's a. I mean, you got Venezuela,
Mhm.
Dominican Republic, Japan, and USA. I would say are like kind of the top four. Um, So yeah, hats off to Venezuela, their first ever World Baseball Classic championship.
Yeah, I thought it was a lot of fun to watch. I thought, there's still, it's such a new tournament. I think this was the fifth or sixth run of it. Um,
Yeah, I think it's like six or it might be 6 or 7. It started in 2000, the early 2000s, because I know Japan's won it 3 times, the U.S. has won it once, Dominican has won it once, something like that. So yeah, this was like the seventh iteration, maybe we'll
yeah.
say.
So I know they're still kind of ironing out the kinks and stuff like that, but the timing is a little unfortunate because I get so many players are, gearing up for the season so they don't want to get hurt, which I totally understand. I don't know when like the perfect time to play these games would be though. The other thing that I thought it was really cool to see Team Italy do its thing until I learned that every single player on Team Italy was
It was
American.
American.
Yeah, and it's like I kind of wish that we would, this goes to the Olympics as well. I kind of wish we would iron out some of these rules a little bit where it's like, oh, cool, my grandfather's grandfather was Italian,
Right.
therefore I can play for the Italian team. It's like, okay, come on, let's kind of like change
Or
the
like Team
rules
Israel was just like
if you have a
people
Jewish
Jewish
heritage at all.
heritage.
Yeah, it's like, okay, like I get it. You want to get more players that are name brand in there and stuff like that, but at the same time, it's kind of like, all right, this is kind of getting a little silly, where it's like, if you're Italian, be from Italy,
Right.
it's,
Well, like Vinny Pascantino, the team captain for Italy. Obviously, if you just go off of his name, yes, he has Italian
yeah,
heritage. I'm not sure if his parents are from Italy. I'm not sure if it's his grandparents. But if you look him up on Wikipedia, he was born in New Jersey.
yeah, and it's one of those things of like, okay, this is cool and all, but at the same time, it's like I feel like they just need to create better rules. And like the other one that was I thought was bad was, and we talked about this off air, was Nolan Arenado played for the United States last time, and then this time he was playing for who? He was playing
Puerto
for
Rico.
Puerto
Everyone
Rico.
thinks it's because he couldn't make the Team USA roster, which he shouldn't have been on Team USA, so then he goes to be on Puerto Rico.
But then it just kind of feels like for Puerto Rico's standard of like, okay, now we've got like a BUSA team in a way, where it's like, and it's like, okay, this doesn't feel as cool as, I would rather see a pure Puerto Rican team rather than like United States X-offs.
Yeah. Well, it'd be like if you went and played for like South Africa.
Yeah, it'd be weird.
Like you're American, and
Yeah.
yeah, your mom is born. and raised in South Africa. So that's where. So that to me is like, I sort of get it. Like, there was that Eileen New, I want to say her name was, the skier.
Exactly. Yeah.
She's American. I'm pretty sure born in America, like San
He was born
Francisco.
in San Francisco. Yeah.
But her parents are Chinese. So it comes down to like, and I don't know the answer to this. I'm just, well, not making this up, but like, was she not good enough to make Team USA? So then it's like, well, I'm gonna go ski for China. Because
But
but
then
then
she
it's like
won,
but then it's like, well, she won gold, so
and she won gold. And
clearly she is.
but
I don't know.
here's another example of it. Joel Embiid. He is clearly not American.
No,
Yet
he just became a citizen.
when he becomes a citizen, he's like he got the choice. He said he was blatant about it. He's like, I have a better chance of winning gold with the United States,
Yeah,
and that's what he did. And
yeah.
it was
There's
like you
like
gotta
so
look at
many
it.
loopholes.
There's so many loopholes. He could have. I honest to God, I'm pretty sure if you looked at Joel Embiid's full citizenship, born, raised, everything, probably qualifies for 4 countries.
Yeah, I think he was like it was like USA, France. I want to say he's from Senegal.
Yeah, and he probably has another one in there too.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, I know it's a Olympic thing and everything like that, but it's like the World Cup for like soccer, for example. You don't see this. Like, it's
Once
just
you
like
commit
I'm
to a
born,
team,
you're there, and
you're
like I kind
there.
of wish we could see that in all these other things where it's like I play for England, I play for Brazil, I am purely that, and there's no way I'm ever leaving. And the United States has the same thing, with their soccer program too. I
Yeah.
wish it would be the same.
Yeah. Well, especially like that'd be a good point for Arenado. He played for Team USA long enough. He shouldn't be able to just go switch countries. So when Christian Pulisic was coming up, obviously he's American, but with his, let's say, grandparents, I think it is, are Croatian, he had the opportunity if he wanted to go play for the Croatian team. I guess he could. But now that, I mean, obviously he's been on, he's in his mid 20s now, like captain of USA soccer. He can't just go switch. Like he's played, it's like in soccer they call it caps, which are
Mhm.
appearances. So it's like however many caps you play with your country, it's like you can't switch now. So like
Yeah,
he's stuck.
yeah,
And I feel like it should be like that
I
in
think, yeah,
with the World Baseball Classic, or at least make it like a 1 degree of separation. Like I said, with your mom being South African, I guess your mom is technically an American citizen now, but
yeah.
you could go play for South Africa. But at what point is, do am I allowed to go play for Ireland because my grandmother's mother is Irish? Like, I don't think I should be allowed to go do that. But like if my mother was from Ireland, sure, I can sort of understand that.
But outside of that, I thought the World Baseball Classic was a success.
I thought it was great.
Yeah.
The only thing I want different is I want teams to allow players to like go longer. Like I want to see Tarek Skubal pitching in that final game against Venezuela. Nothing against Nolan McLean. I think he's gonna be really good, but he's still a rookie, and you know we got to see Skeens against the Dominican Republic. There's no reason we shouldn't have been able to see like Logan Webb or Tarek Skubal in that final game, but I don't know if that was a Tigers decision or a Skubal decision saying, all right, Team USA, you got me in your first game against, I don't even know who they played. Canada, or not Canada, it was like Great Britain or
Well, I think it was Great Britain. Yeah.
someone like that. And yeah, anyways, it'd be fun to see some like bigger name pitchers. I mean, Japan wasn't even able to pitch Otani because the insurance policy only had him as DH eligible.
Yeah.
So,
So I mean,
but
it's kind
yes,
of
overall, I thought it was fun and
oh, it's
the
fun.
success.
Yeah. Um, outside of that, I would say, correct me if I'm wrong, but spring training has just kind of come and gone, and there hasn't been much big storylines out of spring training unless I missed something.
No, I know they did their spring breakout games this past weekend. They kind of spread them out. That was a
Yeah.
bigger deal when it came about. Like, what was that, last year or 2 years ago? Basically, just like a team of prospects for each team. Um, but yeah, I haven't I haven't heard major news out of spring training, other than maybe the changing of the times for some of the games because of how hot it's been in Phoenix.
Yeah, yeah. It was weird out here on Monday. We had a whole bunch of grapefruit league teams play out here. Yankees played out here. Detroit played out here. Yeah, so they've got a lot of because they're starting their seasons out west. So like the Yankees are playing the Giants, so they're like kind of setting the season up.
Yeah,
Detroit's playing the Padres, so it's kind of like funny how we've had a couple Eastern teams come over here before the season started and done their thing.
right.
Um, but yeah, I haven't really not much noteworthy on my end as well, but we will jump into this because this is important for viewing baseball games this year. There is kind of a different as the sports world has been changing so much here over the past decade of how you view games. Baseball has really changed here in the last 2 to 3 years, and we got a pretty significant move this year where ESPN really is not going to be part of the picture anymore. We got NBC, Apple TV, Peacock, TBS. I'll pass it on to you, James. But is this good for the game as you kind of just explained when everything is fallen into place at this point?
Yeah, I think so. I think any upper. I mean, I know we've talked about this. I think when we talked about this with when we talked about our NBA show, maybe.
Yep.
Um, yeah, I mean, any opportunity to give fans a different way to watch the game, I think is good. I know I talked about how we've kind of strayed away. We had cable for a while, and then the whole streaming game got into place, and now it's like between Paramount and Peacock and Netflix and Hulu and Amazon Prime, and you can go on and go on. Every channel has their own streaming service. It seems like, uh, you know, us viewers and fans, yeah, we're paying out the wazoo just to have this to watch this and this to watch this. But at this point, it's like everyone has found a way to either tag on to a friend of theirs HBO streaming, or they're still on their parents' T-Mobile account and get free MLB TV or Netflix or whatever it may be. It seems like there's always a way to find something. But no, I think it's just going to be a part of the how it is now. There's just going to be tons of different streaming services and ways to watch these games.
Yeah, adding on to that, I really think that MLB, with the amount of international superstars that they have in the game right now and coming into the game, they're really taking a playbook out of the NBA and the NFL, where I feel like they're trying to get more and more international, trying to get more eyes on the game because for so long, baseball has and still is, and I think they're trying to jump out of this, is it's such a regional sport where, if you're in Arizona, you really just care about the Diamondbacks. If you're in LA, you really just care about the Dodgers. And you had all those RSNs for all those years where, just Diamondback games would just be on, Fox Sports, which doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
Those are kind of the thing of the past in a way. There's not many of those left. So, doing these things on, Netflix and Peacock and, expanding the game and seeing more of these guys and everything like that and expanding it to other countries rather than just being like, oh, the Cubs game is only being broadcast in Chicago unless you have MLB Network. This kind of
Right.
expands it rather than just having that one Sunday night baseball game on ESPN, which was really only like Dodgers, Yankees, Red
Yeah.
Sox.
It was
Your
always the
main,
same teams.
yeah, it's kind of the same teams on rotation. You never really got to see like Kansas City or like Baltimore teams that were kind of smaller market, Tampa Bay. This might expand it to get some of those smaller teams like they have in the NBA. There's just a lot more time slots now.
Yeah. Yeah, between NBC Peacock doing Sunday Night Baseball now and maybe another, I don't know, couple days a week. Occasionally, I'm sure they'll have games. Apple TV, they've kind of taken that Friday night slot.
Mhm.
Fox, and potentially FS1, I guess, but
Yeah,
mainly Fox on Saturdays will get a primetime game, and then you'll get day games on FS1. I remember at least last year
yeah,
on Saturdays.
and then
So
we still have the HBO TBS deal that's going to happen on Sundays as well. So
yep,
those will happen. So it's almost like we're going to have more baseball than we've ever
yeah,
had. So,
but yeah, I agree. It's fun to see some of these other teams because there's a lot of good players that people don't know about because, like you said, it's Dodgers, Yankees, Red Sox,
Cubs,
yeah, Cubs,
Giants when they're good.
yeah. It's like the
it's
same.
it it's the same rotation. So, but all right, well, enough talk about all that. Let's dive into our predictions. We're gonna pick our division winners, World Series, MVP, Cy Young. So we'll start right off. We're gonna start off in the AL. We'll go East first, then we'll just go back and forth. Who do you got in the East? AL East.
I'm taking the Blue Jays. I think that the run they had last year solidified it enough for me to pick them again. I know they lost Bichette, which is a big loss, but they're bringing in a new Japanese third baseman. I want to say it's Okamoto. He'll be fun to watch. I thought Dylan Cease was a really good signing. He's a good bounce back candidate. I mean, he's only like in his early 30s. It feels like he's been around forever, but he had kind of a down year in San Diego, so I think he helped shore up that rotation a bit. And then they have a rookie Trey Yesevich, who was absolutely brilliant in the playoffs. I know he's going to start the season on the IL, but I don't think it'll be for too long. So I just like the additions they brought in. Another year of Vlad Guerrero still being in his prime. Uh, so yeah, I think that team. I think they'll have another nice run at it.
I think this is going to be probably the most competitive division in baseball this year. I think all five teams are actually going to be very good, and they're just going to battle each other out. I'm going to take the Yankees, kind of a safe pick in the aspect of I think a lot of these teams are very equal. I think Boston's going to be really good. Blue Jays, as you said, I think the Orioles have a bounce back year with all still that young talent they have. And I think the Rays surprised quite a few people. In the end, I think the Yankees kind of win it in the last weekend. They're healthier than last year, and they've added some pieces. So I'm going to take New York. Kind of a safe pick, but I think this is going to be kind of a bloodbath of a division where everyone is in the mix come September.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough division. Not a big pitchers division. A lot of
A lot
really good hitting
of
teams.
bats. Yeah. Central. AL.
I'm going Tigers, and I would have gone the Tigers even before they signed Frambar Valdez. But I think I mean, with Valdez and Skubal and Jack Flaherty, that rotation is disgusting. I mean, obviously Skubal by now, I would like to think is a household name. Maybe not, but I mean, back-to-back Cy Young winner. He doesn't look to be slowing down by any means. Yeah, that's really the big thing. I'm trying to think offensively if they added anyone. I know they still got. I think Gleyber Torres is back. Obviously, Torkelson had his big breakout last year. Riley Green, Javi Baez is still a name, and actually actually was an All Star last year after a couple years where it looked like the wheels were kind of falling off. So um, yeah, I think between that offense and then that stellar pitching rotation, I think they should not easily win the division, but there's no one. I mean, maybe the Royals could give them a run for their money, and that's really it. After that, it really falls off. The White Sox are still rebuilding. Cleveland's not quite there yet for me. Who's the last team in that division?
And Twins and Royals.
Well, like I said, Royals I think could finish like second, maybe be a wild card team. The Twins are, I think, by far the worst team in that division. And the White Sox are just they're still the White Sox until they show any sign of life. I mean, they're on the up and up. I will give them that. They had some good signings, but they're not there yet.
Yeah, I feel very similar to what you just said. I'm also taking Detroit. I just don't really see much of a team that can make a run. Kansas City, maybe. The Guardians, I'm kind of back and forth on. White Sox, not there yet. Twins, I'm not too high on them either. But kind of everything you said about the Tigers, they have the best rotation. Verlander's back. Who knows what he's going to bring, but he's the
Yeah, what
five.
is he? 42.
Yeah, I don't know what he's going to bring, but he is the five, and he did he did okay in San Francisco, and he
Yeah,
might eat up innings, but Kenley Jansen's there, so you got some old guys. Let's see what they got left. But in the division that they're in, I just don't feel too confident about taking anyone else. So I'm going to take Detroit.
prospect to keep an eye on. Kevin McGonigal, infielder. I'm not sure if he's going to start the season as a starter, but he's a player, and he's only going to make the Tigers better.
All right, who do we got in the West?
I'm going Mariners, basically for the same reasons I said about the Tigers. That rotation is disgusting. You have Brian Wu as a 3. So with George Kirby and Logan Gilbert are listed as the 1-2. Brian Wu might be the best pitcher on that team, and he's like their third pitcher. Again, I just really like what they did. They re-signed some guys. They obviously another year of Julio. He's like the catalyst of that team. But I think those trade deadline deals of bringing in Eugenio Suarez and Josh Naylor from the Diamondbacks really helped them. They didn't quite make it past the hump. That Mariners Blue Jays series was really fun. But kind of a spoiler alert for what I'm going to do later on in my World Series picks. But I think the Mariners have what it takes to actually make it to the World Series this year. So, and crap, I didn't even mention Cal Raleigh. It'll be interesting to see what he does this year. If he can, is that I don't want to say a flash in the pan, but because he's solidified himself as a huge power catcher. It's not like he never hit homers prior to last year, and all of a sudden he just hit 60. Like he had like 30 homer seasons before. But I want to see if he's like for real, for real. Can he hit 40 or 50 homers this coming year? So yeah, that team has it all, I think.
Yeah, so for me, Angels are going to be bad, so toss them out. A's competitive, but I don't think they're there. I think you have three teams that are going to kind of jockey for the top there. The Seattle rotation's really good. I really like Texas's rotation too. They're just 2 years, 3 years away from the World Series now. They still have some of those pieces there. And I think Denver, Jesus. I think Houston is also going to be interesting. They bring back Carlos Correa. They still have Altuve there and Yordan Alvarez. Still a pretty good team. I want to disagree, but I feel like I have to take Seattle. That lineup is too good. You named a lot of the pieces I was going to name. We'll see what Big Dumper does this year. I don't know if it's going to be the same as last year. It's hard to do that back-to-back years as a catcher. But like the East, I think these top three teams, they're all going to be in it in that last week. And unfortunately, I think one of them probably gets left out and doesn't make it into the wild card. Um, I'll take Seattle and Texas and Houston. They're gonna make one of them is gonna make the playoffs, and they're gonna be a hard out.
Yeah, so you mentioned, I mentioned this, you mentioned it again. I'm going to mention it a third time. Being a catcher, I think, is huge. That's a lot of innings, not only obviously behind the dish, but then going up there and whacking 60 homers as a switch hitter. We saw Raleigh on the World Baseball Classic team. He didn't play much. Will Smith was playing over him, so he hasn't really gotten out to a hot start in spring training or the World Baseball Classic. So yeah, I think a lot of eyes are going to be on him. I think more eyes would have been on him had he actually won the MVP, which I still think is crazy for what he did for his team. The records he broke as a switch hitter and as a catcher. I mean, again, against Judge, Judge had a ridiculous season. So you can make an argument, obviously, either way. But I thought it was crazy to me that Raleigh didn't win the MVP.
Yeah, actually, I'm probably gonna say it. I'll X it out. It's gonna be the Mariners or the Rangers, one of the two for me. So I'll go down those two. I kind of just looked at the depth chart a little longer. I like the Rangers more than the Astros. So let's head on over to the NL and let's do the East.
At some point, the Mets have to break the curse. I'm going with
Yeah,
the Mets. Bichette was a huge get. Marcus Simeon was a big get. Luis Robert is a prime breakout candidate. I mean, he was elite just a couple years ago, and last year he just forgot how to hit. But I think a new for some of these guys, just change of scenery can be really big. And then I think the Mets getting Freddie Peralta, who got named their opening day starter, was huge. Um, who am I missing? They brought over Devin Williams. He needs to bounce back. He used to be one of the best closers in the game. Um, I'm going Mets just because I think eventually they have to actually do what they're supposed to do.
I'm gonna take Philly. Um, it's a three-team race. It's Philly, Atlanta, or the Mets. The Mets just feel cursed at this point. It doesn't matter who they've got. It just doesn't seem like it's going to be it. And I actually have it in the order: Philly, Braves, Mets. That's how I got it. Braves pitching staff is going to be better. They were very hurt last year. I think a lot of people forget how hurt that team was, but they'll bring back their team pretty much in May here. First month, so some guys are hurt. Spencer Strider is probably going to have a good bounce back here once he's healthy. Atlanta's going to be a tough out. And we just saw what Ronald Acuna Jr. can do. But Philly, just love Kyle Schwarber, love Trey Turner. Bryce Harper's still there. Pitching staff is solid. They were probably, they're the only team in the NL that I feel like can make a run at it outside of the Dodgers. I'm going to go with Philly winning the East.
The only thing I don't like about Philly is, and not that one player changes everything, but I want to see how Zach Wheeler comes back from his injury. So, I mean, that team still has Nola, Christopher Sanchez, but I think the loss of Ranger Suarez going to Boston
Yep.
will hurt them a little bit. But yeah, Philly's up there. I mean, to me, if the Mets don't win it, Philly's gonna win it.
Yeah, and I mean, just adding two things. Nola looked great pitching for Italy, and then Garcia, who previously played with the Texas Rangers. If he can have a bounce back year, that's just another bat right there that is really really dangerous when he's going.
Yeah,
Let's jump over to the Central.
I'm going Cubs. I was going between the Cubs and the Brewers. The Brewers just lost way too much, in my opinion, in a typical Milwaukee. Uh, they're never really in the mix for signing big time free agents. Um, However, the Cubs do sign big time free agents, and Bregman going there, I think, helps them. Pete Crow Armstrong, he looked really good in the World Baseball Classic. He's another year older. Just another piece, I think, in that Cubs puzzle to finally put it all together. And Craig Counsell's a really good manager. Sorry, Milwaukee fans, that he left you like that, but uh, yeah, I like the Cubs. I like the moves they made, and they're gonna get a couple guys back, like Justin Steele. At some point, should make his return to that rotation. Um, yeah, we saw Palencia actually Was it Palencia? Yeah, Palencia closed it out 14 Venezuela against the USA. So he's going to be the Cubs closer. Um, and then obviously you have your, standard cast of Cubs who've been there for a while: Swanson, Nico Horner. I mean that team is very well put together. I think they'll be solid. And look for Michael Bush to have a really big year. Ex Dodger Michael Bush.
Yeah, when he hits, he hits. There's no lie to that. In my opinion, this is a fairly easy pick going into the season. It may change, but yeah, I mean, I feel very confident actually saying this, the Cubs are going to win the division. Milwaukee, they lost a lot. I still think they're going to be competitive. St. Louis, I think, is going to be really bad. Uh, but I'm not going to say a lot of what you just said about the Cubs. That's my pick. I kind of want to talk about two other teams that could make noise, and that's Cincinnati and it's Pittsburgh. Cincinnati pitching's not great, I'm not going to lie, but they have some good bats. Suarez is now there. We talked about him, what he did last year for Seattle in the postseason. We know he can hit. We saw what he just did with Venezuela. They still got Ellie, good player. So they have pieces that are like, okay, they're potentially gonna make some noise. They could be terrible and they could be sellers, and that could be the end of that. But Cincinnati could make noise. Pittsburgh's the other one. Pittsburgh is a team that has a lot of young guys now coming up. Obviously, everyone knows about Paul Skeens, but Bubba Chandler is now here.
Yep, he's in
Um,
the rotation.
yeah. Oh my God, Connor Griffin's gonna be here. Maybe not day one, but he'll be here very soon. He's gonna set a record potentially on a rookie deal without even taking it at bat. Um, the they could Cincinnati or Pittsburgh, if they start out hot, they could make a run.
Well, in Pittsburgh, I feel like they finally brought in a free
They,
agent. They
they brought
never do
in
that, and they brought in, was it Josh Lowe or Brandon Lowe? I think it's
they
Josh.
did that, and then oh my God, I'm blanking the DH. I just totally blanked on his name. He just hits home runs. Oh my God.
O'Hearn, Ryan
Not
O'Hearn,
O'Hearn. Marcel Ozuna.
well, Marcelo Zuna.
Yeah, he's still there. They've got a lot of guys. I know Brian Reynolds. He's just been there. He hasn't been the guy. They've got a lot of guys that are like, maybe it's the year. Henry Davis, same thing. Joey Bart, same thing. You got a lot of guys that had a lot
O'Neal
of
Cruz, he
upside when
needs
they
to.
came in the league. Didn't. Yeah, just a lot. O'Neal Cruz, another one. Just a lot of guys that are just like, they've never broken out. Maybe this is the time that they break out. Uh, they could make noise. I'm just going to leave it at that. They could make noise. Cubs are my pick. I feel pretty confident about that. But outside of St. Louis, you got three teams there: Milwaukee, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati. I wouldn't be surprised if one of them, in September is like, oh, this team's definitely going to make the playoffs and it's going to be a scary out. Just don't know which one.
Yeah.
Let's move over to the West.
I mean, I really want to stray away from the Dodgers as a Diamondbacks fan, but I can't. I mean, they just keep breaking baseball in ways that I never knew could happen. They brought in Kyle Tucker and they bring in Edwin Diaz, or their two ginormous signings who are, multi-year all-stars, potentially one of the best outfielders in the game and potentially one of the best closers in the game. And they're coming off of a World Series win. So it's like, all right, how do the rest of the teams in this division compete with that? And for the past 2 years, basically ever since the Diamondbacks beat them uh, in 2023, the Dodgers basically said we're not going through that again, and they haven't lost in the playoffs since. So I can't not pick the Dodgers.
Yeah. I feel the same way. Dodgers are stacked. This could be if they take the regular season seriously, which who knows, they may not.
We talked about
And
this last year about them potentially breaking the record, and they obviously they didn't.
yeah,
Um, but yeah,
this could be a 120 team if they take the regular season seriously. And one of the things that makes me say that, well, there's two things. One, the lineup is better, the pitching's better. Like they're a better team, which is crazy.
yeah,
The other thing is the division's worse. Colorado's terrible. The Padres got worse. The Diamondbacks probably got a little better, but not like
yeah.
nothing
They
crazy
didn't
to
make the
talk about.
signings. I don't think they
And
made the signings that Diamondback fans were hoping for.
and even the Giants are like, yeah, you're probably a little bit better, but like, no, this is the first time in quite a few years where I can actually pretty confidently say the Dodgers will be the only team out of the West in the playoffs. I don't think any of them
Yeah.
make the wild card.
I mean, you have to assume Mookie Betts bounces back a little bit, right? There's no, I mean,
I mean, he had a bad year last year.
he had a bad
And
year,
yeah,
and Otani can now pitch from the start.
yeah. So, I mean, they're sending, and this is where baseball's broken. We can go into this a whole other time, but like, sending Kim down to AAA and in spring training he hit 400. I mean, they're sending guys down to AAA because they just don't have spots. I mean, they're
Yeah.
just so loaded. So, I mean, that said, I don't really have much else to say. I mean, they can have guys go on the injuries list. I mean, Kike is going to start on the 60-day. It doesn't matter. I mean, they'll make a transaction at some point during the season to make their team even better. So yeah, and the funny thing is their big signing, Kyle Tucker, Diaz also I guess big signing. I think he'll be great. Kyle Tucker, I see this dude batting like eighth, and like I know they've got him sliding at like three right now. Give it like a month. This dude's gonna bat 7/8. He's gonna bat like 270, and he's gonna hit like 27 home runs, and it's gonna be just stupid. And everyone's
I mean,
gonna say, "Well,
you
it's
have
a
guys
waste."
like
Sorry,
you have like
go
Andy
for it.
Pajes at the end of the line. You have Teoscar Hernandez and Andy Pajes, at least at the lineup I'm looking at. So this lineup has Tucker batting second. But
That's what they're thinking.
They have Teoscar Hernandez batting seventh and Andy Pajes batting eighth. Like, how do you okay, so Otani, Tucker, Betts, Freeman, Will Smith, Max Muncy, Teoscar Hernandez, Andy Pajes, and then they have Alex Freeland, who is I think their third prospect in their system, or ranked third at second
Yeah,
base.
yeah, and
I
we'll
mean,
see. I mean, he's kind of filling in. I mean, this is where that whole conversation. Kim probably should be up there. Tommy Edmonds, the second baseman,
yeah,
but he's hurt. But this just kind of speaks to the fact of how deep they are. And on top of it, it seems like everyone but like Freeman and like Teoscar Hernandez can play like five positions.
right, yeah.
So it's a positionless team where it's just like okay, everyone can go everywhere. Um,
Well, and then
yeah,
literally when they get Edmund and Kike back, literally everyone can play everywhere.
everyone can play everywhere, and it's
And
like
Blake Snell's going to start on the IL. Gavin Stone's going to start on the IL. A plethora of bullpen guys.
what
Evan
does
Phillips, Gratterall. I mean, it's like when those guys come back, it's almost like a mini IL trade deadline for them and pieces they just get back to the add to their team.
I mean
Which
their lineup is technically in certain ways better than actually it's definitely better than half of the WBC teams that happened.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and even like I said, they're bullpen. So right now they're 7, 8, 9 is Alex Vesia, Tanner Scott, Edwin Diaz. Okay, so then what do you do with Gratterall and Evan Phillips when they come back? Even Brock Stewart. Brock Stewart, I know on the Twins are different. Brock Stewart was like a eighth inning, ninth inning guy for the Twins, but he's a good pitcher. So you bring those guys back, and it's like, all right, now you have like six guys gunning for those 7, 8, 9 trying to get holds and saves. So
And what very well may happen is they take one or two of these pieces, throw a whole bunch of prospects to it, and go get someone else that's better.
yeah,
That's what's going to happen. Um, I mean, it helps when you got a lot of money, but it also helps when you got a really good front office, and they've got both. So it makes for a
yeah.
really tough situation for the rest of the league. That said, let's jump into the MVPs. We'll do AL and then NL. I'll let you go first.
I'm going Bobby Witt. I just think this would be a three-peat for Judge, right? If he were to win it,
I think it is.
seems tough. I'm not saying it's tough. Like I think Judge will put up the numbers to where he has a chance to win it, but I just think maybe they'll vote someone different just to get some new blood in there. So I'm gonna go. I'm going Bobby Witt Jr. I mean, not only is he a freak offensively, but he's just as much of a freak defensively, especially if you watch the World Baseball Classic. He made some ridiculous plays.
So I think we're in for a hot summer. Therefore, the ball I think is going to fly like crazy this year. I'm going to take Aaron Judge just from the aspect of I think he may throw up a 67 home run year. I think it's going to be a lot of home runs, and Judge is going to lead the league. And at that point, you just got to give it to Judge, which I'll say my NL MVP right now. Same reason, Shohei Ohtani. I think
I've
he's
got
gonna. I think he's gonna
I've
hit
got
60
Otani.
home runs, and it's gonna be the same thing. I think the NL. It's surprising. I think the NL is harder than the AL because of my reasoning, but I got Ohtani.
I've got a well until Otani doesn't win it. I mean, I guess you could say that about Judge too. But until Otani isn't winning it, I'm not picking Otani. Not to mention you get to throw now his pitching stats in there, which we'll see if that hinders him a little bit. Obviously, the big offensive seasons we saw from him were when he wasn't pitching. But if he's able to basically keep his offensive stats and then every, I guess we'll say 6 days, because it seems like they want to keep him on that 6 day rotation rather than every 5 days he pitches. I mean, if he gets back to being an elite starter, you can't not give it to him because he literally is the most valuable player.
Yeah. Um, this might be more of of a competition at my point. Let's go to Cy Young. We'll start with AL.
I'm going Garrett Crochet. I think he has such a herky jerky delivery. It's really hard for batters to pick up. He's a hell of a pitcher. He probably would have had a Cy Young or two already if it weren't for Tarek Skubal taking the last two. And really, honestly, I'm just Skubal could probably win a third if he has a ridiculous season again. I'm just gonna try and go on voter fatigue and pick someone different. So I'm going Crochet. I just think he kind of reminds me of like a Chris Sale, just a big lefty, gets a lot of Ks, weird delivery. So I'm going Garrett Crochet with the Red Sox.
So I have two written down, but one's a flyer, one's not. The first one is actually kind of a flyer because I think he's going to have a bounce back here, and he might be like the bounce back player of the year type situation. But I'm going to put Cy Young for this guy. Dylan Cease, going from San Diego to Toronto, change of scenery is probably going to help out quite a bit. I'm a little bit worried the division he's now pitching in the aspect of a lot of hitters. But he's not the one. He gets to go into a situation where he's in a pretty good rotation, not a lot of stress, and the aspect of the offense is really good. Uh, Dylan Cease is going to be my pick. The other guy I had written down is Wu in Seattle. But Seattle's got three guys that could win it. So I'll go Cease. Wu, B, Cease, A.
I do. I mean, I have Wu on my fantasy team, and he's Zach Wheeler 2.0.
Yeah.
They're like
I
the
think
same pitcher. It's crazy.
yeah. Who do you got for the NL?
I really wanted to go with someone different, but I think we're getting another repeat candidate. I'm going Paul Skeens. The guy's just physically different, and he's so He's like boring in a good way. Like there's not much to. You've seen interviews with him. Like he's just kind of a calm, calm demeanored person. But then you can tell that he takes pitching seriously. And the thing I like about him is that he's not just a 100 mile per hour fastball. I mean, the guy, he's a 100 mile per hour fastball, but he knows how to pitch. Like he's not just blowing it by you. Like he has like four, five, six different pitches. Like he can throw the kitchen sink at you. And then if he really needs to just like, all right, screw this, I'm gonna challenge you. All right, try to hit my 101 mile per hour fastball. So, but I think he's a complete pitcher. I don't think he's just a flame. Like people who don't know or have never seen him pitch probably just, oh, Paul Skeens, he's that flamethrower. And yeah, I mean, yeah, he is, but he also has a wipeout slider and a changeup that varies 20 miles per hour difference from his fastball. So yeah, have fun touching and trying to hit that.
Yeah, Skeens is definitely the easy pick on this one. I'm going a little bit differently. Another guy that just dominated in the postseason. I'm going with Yoshi. The only concern with Yoshi is, will he get the innings? Will the Dodgers let him get enough innings to potentially win the Cy Young? I'll bet and say yes. But you have two guys that could potentially, which is crazy, have ERAs under two. So I'll go Yoshi.
Yoshi, if it wasn't Skeens, I would have picked Yoshi too. He definitely bounced back in his second season in the MLB and proved to the Dodgers why they gave him the big money.
Yeah. All right, well, let's just jump into it. World Series.
I'm doing Mariners over Dodgers in 7. Three peats, hard to do. Watch me eat my words and the Dodgers do it, but I'm going Mariners over the Dodgers in 7.
We're very similar. I got Dodgers over the Mariners. I'm going to give them the three-peat. I just don't see anyone taking down the Dodgers this year. I think the team is too good.
I don't.
Before we end,
Have we ever had a three-peat?
Yankees.
Okay.
98 through 2000.
Have we ever had a four-peat if the Dodgers already get it done this year?
We probably have to go back and really look, but that actually brings me to my next question before we log off here, since this is a baseball preview show. Do we get a lockout in 27?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so too.
There also has been a four-peat. 4 consecutive World Series championships in a row, all achieved by the New York Yankees. So 49 to 53. So there was the first one was 36 to 39. Yankees did it 5 straight, 49 to 53. And it looks like I think that's it.
All right, fair.
Yeah, because the Yankees had a three-peat in 98 to 2000. So yeah, there have been four-peats. Long time ago, but it's been done.
All right. Well, anything else you want to address before we jump off here?
I don't believe so. It'll be interesting watching baseball on Netflix on opening day, Wednesday, and then the real big opening day with all the rest of the teams is Thursday. So
It's going to be fun to watch.
should be
We're right
fun.
back in the baseball season. All right, guys. Well, we will talk to you soon. I don't know when, but we will be back soon. Probably NBA playoffs. Probably.
Yeah, unless we want to do like a college basketball national. I don't know. We'll figure out
We'll figure it
something.
out. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for watching, everyone. Until next time. Later, y'all.